why do we do this? Why do we have regular investors investing in our company? Well, I believe, starting a company today is not the same as starting a company 40 years ago. Something called the internet came in between and got invented. I think what the internet really enables is that, first of all, people from all corners of the world can suddenly have access to all the information. So we want to use the internet, and we want to leverage that to really connect all the most creative, smartest people all over the world to build this company together with us. Last month we leaked, or we unveiled the design of the Phone 1 ourselves. Why? Because these days it's really hard to keep control of all the leaks, so we thought we might as well do it ourselves. This way at least we can control what kind of images are going out. But the results really blew our mind. The internet there's so much buzz online. We're really grateful for all that positivity. We're following the design reveal. We engraved the first 100 phones from 1 to 100 and auctioned them out on StockX. The first phone went for over $3,000, and in total we raised over $100,000. Isn't that amazing? We're putting this money into a community managed fund, and I'm really looking forward to see what our community chooses to do with the money. Alright, it's kind of noisy here, so let's go somewhere else and I'll dive into the details of the Phone 1. This looks like a pretty good place to watch some videos with parrots.
I have very vivid light experiences. Sometimes I went into lights that they're brighter than the sun, and I see patterns in dirt, in trees, and I say, oh boy, this stuff is really, really something else.
Modern smartphone releases have become quite boring. It's usually about specs and features. For us, with the Phone 1, we wanted to bring something fresh to the market. We started off with a modern smartphone as a canvas to build upon, but then we really did something interesting on the back. We call it the Glyph interface. What does it do? It looks really cool, but what's the function behind it? There's a couple of things. First of all, we've perfectly synced the Glyph lights with our ringtones. Let me show you. That's a Morse code. You know what it is for? Our intention is for you to set different ringtones and different corresponding glyph patterns for different people. You'll remember those, and if you're in a meeting or at a dinner and you don't want to always be on your phone, you can flip your phone over. It will turn all your ringtones to silent, and the glyph combinations will tell you who's trying to call you. So it's like a visual dialer or a visual ringtone almost. Another feature we have here is that all the glyphs are next to the functional areas of the phone. So this one is next to the charging port. As you're charging your phone, this becomes like a progress bar to show how much you've charged. The one here in the middle is next to the wireless charging coil, so when you're charging or reverse charging something, this will light up to indicate that it's being in use. The one up here in the upper right corner, it points to the front-facing camera on the front, and there's also one around the dual camera setup here. This is the start, and we're building more features on top of the Glyph interface, and we look forward to work with our community to see where we can go with this. Something else that's really important for us is how it feels in the hand, like the experience of the product, right? Because we're using our smartphone for hours and hours a day. We wanted the experience to be premium. The front and back are Gorilla Glass 5, and the bezels are made up of 100% recycled aluminum. So nowhere where you touch the phone do you have plastic. For us, sustainability has been important ever since the beginning, but it's not something that you should talk a lot about. For us, it's more about taking the actions and stating the facts. So what have we actually done on the product, right? Apart from the mid-frame that's 100% recycled aluminum, more than 50% of the plastics used in the Phone 1 are bioplastics or recycled plastics, and 100% of the tin used for soldering is also recycled. we're the only ones, as far as we know, in this industry that's doing this. The first reaction I had to the Phone 1 when I first held it in my hand was, wow, this is really light. And when I've been showing this to friends, that's also their first reaction, because in the past year or so, I've been using the iPhone, and the iPhone is really heavy because it comes with a steel frame, whereas the Phone 1 comes with an aluminum frame. So that's the main difference. Another really core part of the experience for a smartphone is the OS. I don't really get why some Android brands would really put a heavy skin on top of Android. It slows everything down, and I like the Android design. I think there's a lot of good default Android apps, so let's not replace them with our own. Instead, let's focus our time and effort on things that, like incremental value that we can add to users. Our vision is a world without barriers between people and technology, and where you can use your smartphone as a hub for your entire digital life. So for us, what's important is that we build connectivity between Nothing OS and other products all around you. So it goes without saying that Nothing OS should work well with our own products. Actually, we only have one product in the market, which is the Ear 1. So in the quick settings of Nothing OS, you're going to have quick setting controls for your Ear 1. You can change the noise cancellation mode, you can connect it, disconnect it, etc. But we want our ecosystem to be more than just Nothing products. So we're also building controls for third-party products. The first one we built is for Tesla. So if you're a Tesla owner, you can connect with your Tesla, turn on the lights, flash the lights to help you find it in a parking lot, or turn on the AC before you enter the car so it's just at the right temperature when you need it. When it comes to software, our approach is that stability and quality is way more important than building a ton of features, because the smartphone is such an essential product. It needs to work all the time. And maybe you're in an emergency and it just has to work, right? It cannot be a product that ever fails. It's also a product we ship to a ton of consumers. It's a mass market product. So for us on the software side, stability, quality, and reliability is way more important than having a ton of flashy features. So that's why when you look at our engineering team and you look at our resources, we place much more resource on testing, quality assurance, bug fixing than new feature development. In fact, last time I checked, we had more than 500 engineers on Jira just closing tickets and fixing bugs. So that's our approach to software. In the past couple of months, a lot of the team have become quite interested in NFTs. So we've also built a fun little NFT widget on the home screen of your phone, so you can display your NFT collection, quickly view floor prices, and more. Another super important feature are the cameras. Smartphone cameras are one of the most used features on the smartphone. And the Phone 1 is actually quite controversial, believe it or not. It's only got 2 cameras. You might have seen that a lot of modern smartphones have 3 cameras or 4 cameras. But actually, the amount of cameras is not what makes the photo quality good. In fact, a lot of these brands, they have maybe 1 good camera, and they put 3 kind of cheap cameras, just to make you believe it's an advanced 4-camera system. But in reality, like, after you buy the product and you start using the other 3 cameras and you're not that satisfied with the photo quality, I think that really erodes the trust. Maybe it's good for initial sales, but really erodes trust in the brand for the long run. So for us, we kept it simple, no bullshit. 2 cameras, both are really solid 50 megapixel sensors. The main camera is a Sony IMX766, used in a lot of flagship Android phones today, and we also added OIS and EIS for that additional secondary sensor. We went with an ultra wide, so you can capture more of the scene. It's the Samsung JN1, also a really good sensor, and it has a 114-degree field of view. In fact, instead of telling you all about the technology behind it, the AI and all that stuff, let's just show you, right? And you know, in a lot of these smartphone keynotes, these smartphone brands would hire professional photographers. They would pay them and they would fly to exotic locations, and then they would use Photoshop or other photo editing tools to make the images look really nice. But the problem is, never in 100 years are you going to be able to take those photos if you buy that product. So instead of doing that, we thought, hey, why don't we just give the phone to our community, our friends, have them take some photos in London. Let's upload the photos so you can download them, They're unedited, you can zoom in and you get a real sense of the images that you're going to be able to take with our product. Apart from photos, the modern smartphone is able to take really good videos. So the Phone 1 lets you capture 4K videos. We also built this fun little thing on the back where when you're recording a video, there's a red LED light that's blinking. Pretty cool, huh? By the way, what do you think about the quality of this keynote so far? In fact, it's been taken on the Phone 1. For a smartphone, a display is also super key. I mean, you spend hours and hours every day on your smartphone. I think the AMOLED panel that we're using on the Phone 1 is actually one of the best on the market. It's got HDR10 Plus certification. It's got 10 bits of color. That means a billion colors, so that whenever you're viewing content, it's just so vivid and so lifelike. It's also got a 120 Hz refresh rate and a 240 Hz sampling rate. What does that mean? This, coupled with the software tuning that we've done, means that when you're scrolling through apps, social media feeds, etc., it's all buttery smooth. It's a really pleasant experience. We also did something quite controversial on the screen. We used a flexible OLED display to create a flat design. How does that work? Well, there's this OCD part of us where we wanted the four sides of the phone, so the chin, forehead, the two bezels, to be exactly the same width. And usually on Android phones, the chin is a bit bigger than the other parts because on OLED displays there's these connector ribbons that connects the screen to the motherboard that take up the additional space. So by opting for a flexible OLED, we were able to bend it over to the back, the chin part. It's on the back and hidden. And that's how we accomplished the symmetrical bezels. But the problem is this costs almost double. Like a flexible OLED display costs almost double that of a regular OLED display. And again, this is a decision that we can't possibly justify with data. Like if we opt for this display and pay almost double for the screen, are we going to get X amount of better commercial performance on the phone? Don't know. But at the end of the day, we need to create products that we're really proud of, that we like to use ourselves and also are proud to share with our friends and family. And that's just what we did with the display on the Phone 1. Let's talk about performance. Mobile processors have improved a lot over the past couple of years. So with the Phone 1, we didn't want to go for the latest and greatest on paper. Instead, we wanted to choose a really reliable and solid processor. It comes with a Snapdragon 778G+, using the efficient TSMC 6nm process. It balances battery life, reliability, and performance. And on performance, I'm actually playing Diablo Immortal quite often these days, and even on the highest graphic settings, it doesn't lag. In terms of battery, what's important is that it can comfortably last more than a day. So the Phone 1 comes with a 4,500 milliampere battery. It's got 33 watts of wire charging. It takes around 1 hour to fully charge. It's got 15 watts of wireless charging and 5 watts of reverse wireless charging. So that's about it. Let's go get some fresh air. So that's Nothing Phone 1. It's a really big step forward for us. It's got this unique lift interface on the back, but more importantly, it's just a really well-balanced smartphone with everything from the build quality to the performance to the cameras. Oh, and it also comes in black. Prices start at $399, and the first time you're going to be able to try it and buy it for yourself is on the 16th of July at our kiosk in Covent Garden. General release is on the 21st of July, where you're going to be able to buy it on Nothing.tech, as well as across all our partners. We've arrived at our office now. Today we're actually doing a little event where we've invited our friends and community to celebrate the launch of the Phone 1 together with us. Do you want to come?
After some hours, then I was laying in the bed. I came back. You will see things which are transformed. It's a different view, a different experience of our existence.
Wow.
Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. You thought the Electric Cafe was noisy? Look at this room.
It's humid and hot as well, not just noisy.
It is. We said Phone One is coming this summer. We fulfilled both promises. Well, Carl, I don't
Wow.
want to be the one starting off by asking a rudimentary question, but I absolutely must. Day is finally here. How are you feeling?
You know, it feels so unreal. 1.5 years ago, this was all just like words and ideas, and 1.5 years later, it's getting so real. It's finally launching. It's a very emotional day for me.
I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty glad that you're keeping it together. We have a lot of people here who are waiting to speak to you. But I want to recap and throw back to one of the conversations that you and I were having about a week ago, where you said that building a smartphone is super complicated, and we were getting a little candid about the journey so far. And one thing really stuck out for me is when you said that it takes a village.
Yeah, it really does. It's such a complicated product. So we've been so lucky that you had such great talent from all over the industry join us on this mission together. But do you know who the real unsung hero is? They're the family members.
Yeah.
The Nothing team has been working so hard, and the family members have been so supportive and understanding.
Well, thanks for acknowledging them, and just a huge shout out to all the team members who couldn't join us in this room but have our backs and managing the show behind the scenes. Carl, I can see a lot of eyes that are kind of telling me that leave him alone so we can speak to him. So go ahead, do that. I'm going to bring people who are tuned in a behind the scenes look, because a lot of times when you watch these events, you always wonder what's going on, and I'm here to bring you a sneak peek. And speaking of that, Carl mentioned right at the beginning that we have a lot of friends and partners. Please welcome Emiliano, Senior Director at Qualcomm for Product Marketing. Emiliano, you've been working so closely with us from the very beginning. You've been an important partner in making this happen.